Brown vs. Board of Education. But why are niggas still ignorant? I don't know if some of you have been following the news, but the 50th anniversary of the Brown vs. Board of Education has recently passed. If you don't know what this decision is, it's the decision to desegregate schools, and it allowed blacks to have access to, supposedly, the same education as the white students. Now it's coming to light that even though that landmark court decision was beneficial to us black people, the grade and education gap is widening year after year. The majority of failing students are black. The majority of students with Ds are black. Hispanics are also included, but I'm not Hispanic and I don't know the cultural reasonings behind them, so I'll just focus on the black folks. I'm gonna have to say this right here. I am well aware that tax dollars are not distributed equally amongst black and white schools. I'm also well aware that in general, the white schools offer a higher level of education than most black schools. And when I say schools, I don't mean colleges. I'm talking about K-12. I went to an all-black high school myself. I didn't do all that well in school, but at least I went to school. I didn't miss more than 7 days of high school total. I went to school because I liked school. I wasn't a popular kid or a jock or anything, but I could play drums better than anybody else in the school, and I was also enrolled in the college prep and advanced placement classes all through high school. So that meant that I was kind of placed in the nerd pack. There were popular kids in the honors classes, but they were still considered kinda nerdy, even though they still might have gotten the girls. But even in the nerdy classes, there was no peer pressure from other students to get good grades. You might get joked on for a minute for getting a D or F, but it wasn't severe. For some reason, it was considered cool to get lower grades than in the classes that were in honors classes. The culture wasn't as really fucked up. Even today, it's still cool for a nigga to say that he doesn't know about shit like that when it comes to any subject besides pussy, fighting, drugs, money, or clothes. I remember this one dude who was 19 years old and still in the 9th grade, but since he could dress nice and knew how to crack jokes on other people so well, he was spared the ridicule of being a grown-ass nigga walking around in the 9th grade. Ask a Mutafaka about some current events and you'll be laughed at. If you wanted to get the bitches at my old high school, you had to be known to be a fighter or a good dresser. But mainly a fighter. You could be as dumb as a block of cement, but if you could fight, you have the girls. Believe it or not, there are whole families of niggas that are known for nothing else besides fighting while in school and selling drugs once they get out. It's a generational thing where the skills of being a thug are passed down. I don't remember people being patted on the back for being smart in high school. I was called a nerd by some fat dumb flunking bitch just because I mentioned a story that I had watched on 60 Minutes. This bitch was so ignorant that she thought that there was something wrong with wanting to watch a news program. I also speak proper English most of the time. I don't speak the English with a nasal tone like white people do. All I do is speak correctly. For years, I was criticized for talking white. But now, these hoodheads realize that a nigga who can talk white can make some money and can in turn communicate with white people and getting those white people to open up their wallets. They realize now that those thug niggas that they smoke weed with all day can do nothing but fuck and get high. When it comes to some high-level business, those niggas don't have a clue how it works because they haven't had the experiences that I have had. Even on the internet, black people have developed an internet version of Ebonics where they make up all kinds of dumb ways to spell common words to Negro FY it up. I believe that it originated in the shit rooms of Black Voices and Black Planet back in the day. Now that the shit rooms have died down, the internet Ebonics have transferred to people's personal websites. And to emphasize how stupid it is for any Negro to use language like that is when the Ebonics word requires more letters to spell it than the proper English word, saying "ears" instead of "yes." Or the word can look like another proper English word but it's really the slang of another word, saying "own" instead of "don't." White people don't do shit like that. Only a nigga would purposely try to fuck up the language by writing that moronic Ebonic coon shit. Don't blame the white man for the fuck-ups in the education system, folks, because it's our problem. The same ignorant motherfuckers that I went to school with grew into adults and they raised their own kids in the same cycle of ignorance where academic achievement is ridiculed and the ability to spend the little chump change that their parents make on new shoes and clothes and hair that they don't need. Why spend so much money trying to look good for school when you're not learning shit? Those girls come out of school looking like they went to the nightclub but they don't have even one book in their hand while walking home. All they have are their cell phones. And now another school year is about to end and there will be a new batch of newly formed adults who don't know shit and won't be shit. And they can just get a factory job so they do nothing but sell drugs and when they get arrested, they go to jail and they leave the baby mamas at home and then I come around and fuck 'em. It's a constant cycle. My mouth is watering at all of the ignorant big booty hoodettes that will be entering the real world and realize that they are looking at years and years of poverty. There will be a lot of saliva being applied to my penis this summer by these young dumb broads. You can't believe that. Meanwhile, the smart black kids and the smart white kids go on to college and then become doctors and lawyers, etc. and drive around in their nice cars looking carefree, while the cool niggas are dropping chicken in the hot grease and serving it up and complaining about making minimum wage and riding the bus, while the white folks get all of the advantages because they are supposedly white. Bullshit. I hope us niggas actually gets our equivalent of the 40 acres and a mule that blacks were promised at the end of slavery. 40 acres worth of land with appreciated value would mean several thousands of dollars to each and every black person in America. Then after that, we can stop bitching. I wouldn't have to hear Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton or anybody else on television whining about how blacks are treated so badly by society. But if we did get that money, would shit improve for us? Hell no. If a nigga got a hold of that money, would there be a lot of new business created to employ our own people? Nope. Every new Cadillac in America would be bought right off the lot. Every sneaker would be purchased from Foot Locker. Every gold and platinum scrap and diamond left in the world would go into niggas' mouths and ears and wrists, and around their necks. Every marijuana plant from Canada to Guatemala would be picked. The Colombians would be scratching their heads in amazement because they wouldn't be able to keep up with the demand of crack. They'd be like, !Tamal Caliente Santo Joes, !Los Negros decían más y más cocaína. And then what would happen after we smoked and drank all of that money up? We'd be right back to bitching about how the white man won't hire us. Sad. Happy 50th anniversary Brown versus Board of Education. Until I left and went to college, I had no idea that black people could congregate in a large area without somebody fighting and tearing up shit.